And what you're basically seeing here is me using a rotary system, because I still prefer rotary, especially on black, where I can actually skim all the paintwork down. It does dull the paint compared to a dual action. That's the difference, which is why I have to do multiple layers or multiple stages to get the finish I want. But what you'll see here on the video is all the swirl marks and the haziness, and here you'll see that the paint is much more refined. What you don't see is that it is actually still dull, or maybe even duller. You just don't realise that, because this paint here, where I haven't touched, is dull already. So that's why we have to do multiple stages, because then I'll refine that paint, bring the gloss right back up, but do it gradually, a bit like sanding. If you imagine using sandpaper, you go it in grades. It's the same idea. Now, if I were to just do this with a dual action machine, like a lot of detailers, the truth is you could probably do that in one skim and get a really nice result. The biggest difference is you won't get that depth, you won't get that gloss, and you also won't get those deeper marks out in that amount of time. It will take much, much longer. At the same time, a dual action buffer will take 2 or 3 times the amount of clear coat away, because they're way more aggressive than what a rotary is, believe it or not. So by machining this for an hour, you're taking way too much clear coat, where I can skim over that in 10 or 15 minutes with a rotary and the right pad, and then build it back up and get a much better result and take away way less clear coat. And that's what you're going to see now when I finish the rest of this bonnet. Now, what we have got here is a bit of an issue, and it's something we can't fix, and there's a reason for it. Now, what you'll see there is actually underneath the paint. So that is where the paint itself has reacted, and it's all the way down the bonnet now we've come to see it, which means I do need to ring the client to go through that with him. But that is actually underneath the clear coat and in the actual main paint itself, where it's reacted with the base coat. And unfortunately, there is no way of fixing that because it's under the clear coat. So what we've done is basically skim the whole bonnet using the rotary, and then I have gone over it again with a slightly less pad, kind of a medium pad, medium cut with the rotary, and then I've done a little bit of refinement with a DA. Now, I am going to do a final skim on this car again with a rotary, using a really soft pad across the whole vehicle once this is prepped. But at the minute, the bonnet looks sick. This is exactly where I wanted it to be. We have got these defects. Can't do anything about them, unfortunately. We found a few stone chips, we're filled in the stone chips we can. Some of these are going to take days if we are to fill them in, and we'd need it in for a much bigger booking. But the whole point is getting this car to look incredible. The bonnet compared to the wings now is just in a different league of itself, because the wings really do show how dull and grey they are and how badly marked they are. And I'm going to try and get that on camera now so you can actually see the difference yourself. Now, the next step we're going to be working on the Porsches, the front wings. Now, a lot of 911s are quite tricky to buff, and I know some people out there are going to think I'm talking a load of rubbish, or you're going to be commenting on this video going, it's just a normal car, 911s are dead easy. They're not. And there's a reason for it, and it's why most people go wrong. Now, this 911 is a convertible, which means it's got a nice back on it, and you can actually get a nice line with any buffer on there. But this is the tricky bit. This area here, if you don't hit this right with the buffer, you will get less gloss here and less gloss here, and that goes for the same here, because the buffer only fits on certain angles. Now, this Porsche is a little bit easier than some of the newer generation Porsches, who are absolutely nightmare, because you wouldn't believe how many of those cars we've had in where people have buffed them and you can see a slight line or a change of colour tone in the paint, and that's because the way they've had to angle that pad to be able to get that wing polish. So what we're going to do is go onto a small buffer and one of the small pads, but again, I'm going to be using one of the flex rotaries on this to get a really nice finish. So the reason I'm using a rotary is I can get the rotary to skim down here really nice, where with a DA it would be banging about because it oscillates, where if I get the the rotary on here, I can get a perfect line across that edge, blend it across and get the best finish on these wings. And as I said, if you're only using DAs, truthfully, you can't do that. Now, we've just come to basically the bottom part of the wing, and what I'm going to show you here is quite a deep scratch. Something has gone down the side of this wing here, and it's taken it actually through the paint in some areas. So what we're going to do is machine polish that and just see how much it actually brings it out, and do we need to actually fill any paint into this wing in order to get the result we really need. Now obviously this car was in for a machine detail. We've done basically a paint enhancement. We haven't done a correction because there's a few areas on the car that won't allow us to do a correction. And what I mean by that is there's a few little defects. It's an older car. It can't be made perfect. So calling this a correction is just bullshit, let's be honest. You could say you've done a correction on it. It's not true, because unless the car can be made to be flawless, then it isn't a correction. So I'm going to call this what it actually is, and this is an enhancement. And what we've basically done is got every swirl, every light defect, and all the main scratches from the car. Now actually there's only one scratch left in the car, and it's what I've just shown you on video now, where someone's previously tried to wet sand it and done a really bad job, and it's taken the clear coat down, which means I'm not allowed to do anything on it because it's going to blister through the clear coat. What we're going to do is try and build that up with the actual ceramic coating. It's not realistically going to do it, but if I do multiple layers over it, it will help it, and it may darken it up a little bit, and that's the hope. Now, the next step we're going to be doing is we're now actually going to be PPF in the bonnet. The client's just messaged and said, can you just stick a bit of PPF on that bonnet? I just want to protect it the best we can. A couple of stone chips on it. We've tried to do some touch-ups. It's not a perfect bonnet, but we're going to be protecting this bonnet for future use, and it is obviously going to improve the car massively at the same time. And that's literally what we're going to be doing right now. Now, we've just applied the PPF to the bonnet, made sure it's fully set. I am going to check it tomorrow. I don't care the temperature. We always do like a final check the day after. But what we are doing right now is putting the Angelwax Enigma on. Now, this is the 3-year coating that Angelwax do. Really love this one. They do a 5-year one as well, a lot harder to use. This is just, it's just perfection. It goes on so well, and it just comes off really easy as well, to be totally honest with you. It's a really, really nice product, and the actual result of the feel afterwards is next level. Now, truthfully, you can actually do one layer of this, and they do say it will give 3 years from one simple coating. We don't do that. I am going to multiple layer this, and I'm going to overlay it in various ways, and then I am going to put the heat lamp on it as well. We don't need it. I'm not going to be near the car when I do that because it's probably 25 degrees already, and I don't want to die, but I will multiple layer this. We'll basically apply the first coating and just give it a few hours to set, which does kind of give us time to get round the car, do all the underneath, the inside of the shuts, the door shuts, the boot, things like that. And then what we'll do is put the second layer on, and then we'll bake it. That's when we'll actually bake the coating, because otherwise it's just going to make it too difficult to do in this temperature, to be totally honest with you, and it doesn't need it on the first coating. As I say, it's a single layer coating on this, but the feel from there to the feel from there is just next level from having literally just a single coat on it. It's absolutely insane. Makes a massive, massive difference to your paintwork having a real proper ceramic coating on it. So we've completed the PPF on the bonnet, and then I've fully ceramic the whole car. We've done the wheels. I've managed to do them on the car because these are such an easy wheel. There were no need to actually take them off. I can get inside and out exactly the same, and we've also done the calipers at the same time. Now, the one thing I want to do, and I want to do right, is the roof, because what you'll see here is it's just got bits of fluff. It's actually nothing, something and nothing, it really is. But before I seal this roof, I just want to get those bits of fluff off the roof. You can't always get them perfect because they're just stuck into the fabric, and it's just something that's life. And this is me probably being a little bit picky, a little bit over the top, because most people wouldn't even see it. But we are going to be getting that off with a lint roller first of all, and then once we've done that, we're going to be sealing the roof, and I'm going to show you how I do that, because what we do, and a lot of people do this wrong, you spray the sealant on the roof and you massage it in, which is why I'm wearing gloves, because it actually freezes your hand, or a good product will make it feel like your hands are freezing. But what we're going to do is massage that product in, let it dry in. If we spray it on top, it literally just sits in between the fabrics, and if you imagine the fabrics being like this, it doesn't get through them. So by massaging it in, it goes through to the layers, and then you can multiple layer it up, and we'll be doing that 3 times and then letting it air out for the next sort of 3 or 4 hours. It's quite potent stuff, and then it'll be ready for the customer to pick up. So with the Carrera 4S now completely finished, the client is literally just ready to pick it up. There's a couple of things I want to do. I've noticed on the inside of the glass when I was just about to clean it that it's still got like a residue from a tax disc at some point, so we're going to get a blade and we're going to clean that off. But this is literally the car finished. As you can see on the video now, the roof is insane. It's black, it's darkened, it's got the protection on it, and the paintwork is pretty much flawless. This is a seriously cool classic car, and it now looks exactly as it should. And I'm pretty sure this is probably better than it ever has been before. Now, if you're interested in a ceramic coating, PPF, or even just some form of detailing to remove swirls or scratches, go on the website, click on WhatsApp, or just give the studio a call, and we'll be able to give you as much advice as you need. Thanks again.